Hello everyone, I'm Christina and today it is December 18th, 2017. The month has gone by extremely fast. I don't know about you, but I've been really busy. So, but today I get a question from a new friend of mine, and I do get questions from time to time and I really love them. I really do. And this was one that I felt like I should definitely make a video on because there's more and more coming out in the news every day that we are beginning to recognize as signs, of what's really taking place around here. So I was sent a video, an article called "A Mysterious Blob of Hot Rock is Building Up Under America's Northeast." Now, in case you don't know where that is, here's a quick map of the area. I'm not going to read the whole article, but the beginning of it is enough to get your taste buds going on this one. You might want to check out this article for yourself. But it says a vast mass of hot rock is welling up underneath Vermont and extending into other subterranean regions below New England, new research shows. Stop right there. Hot rock. That's a kind of a weird thing to say, don't you think? Well, that's because hot rock is melting rock, okay? Melting rock becomes molten, then it becomes magma, and then it cools and becomes igneous rock, right? And so when it's melting, that means that things are heating up. So that right there, hot rock, it just sounds, like they're trying to degrade it, but that's basically what they're saying. It's getting hot. Scientists used a network of thousands of seismic measurement devices in the largest geological study of its kind, detecting the enormous blob upwelling under Vermont, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts, and possibly elsewhere. Possibly elsewhere. Keep your mind on that little tidbit for a minute. The upwelling we detected is like a hot air balloon, and we infer that something is rising up through the deeper part of our planet under New England, says geophysicist Vadim Levin from Rutgers University of New Brunswick. Since New England doesn't have any active volcanoes, the huge buildup is thought to be a geologically recent phenomenon. Although in this case, that means, it could have slowly but steadily been growing for tens of millions of years. I doubt that. Anyway, there is a nice little diagram they got going on. They called it some kind of, thermal anomaly. Another anomaly. So, of course, I had this memory come up that at this time last year, that there were 2 mass fish deaths that washed up on the shores of Nova Scotia, right? It was interesting because the fish that were coming up, they were crustaceans. They were lobsters and, things that are bottom feeders. And that meant something happened in the bottom floor, the floor, right? They looked kind of cooked. You know what I'm saying? And so to see this a year later, all right, so I feel like, okay, I knew that the time would come that I would know what that fish death was about because I pinpointed it at the time that happened this time last year, and I was like, something's going on over there, right? So when my new friend sent this article to me with, the obvious question, what's this about? I was like, I knew it. And of course, those of us that have been really paying attention to the earthquake activity, the Northeast, past the New Madrid area, that the keyhole that we're all used to seeing, past that towards New York, there's been some odd increasing earthquake tremors. And like yesterday we had one in Dover, Delaware, which is south of the New England states. When the sun's rays penetrate like that and it causes the core to heat up, it's going to expand, which puts pressure on the mantle. All right. When you have pressure on the mantle, what's underneath us, the magma, is going to be under a lot of pressure, right? But most people don't think about underground magma chambers and magma rivers and all the gases that go under there. All of that is being pushed up to the top. And maybe there was not a volcano there before, and there may not be one right now, but it does look like we have a chamber of magma that is growing. The longer that heat is on that area, the rock is going to continue to melt. Okay, it's going to continue to get hotter unless something like maybe our shields go back up, or the solar winds back off. We're going to continue, because it's like keeping something over the fire, until you take it off. It's going to keep burning, and that's really what we're looking at. We don't necessarily need a volcano. All we need is the magma, and rock can turn into that. And it used to be that it was considered less of a problem because it's in a colder area. Well, it doesn't look like it's so cold anymore. And then there's one more thing. I have a little article that I dug up that says that a major earthquake is to be expected in that area every 1,000 years. Okay. And it probably hasn't been 1,000 years since the last earthquake, but keep in mind, we've been having a lot of freak things that are supposed to be like 500-year floods, 100-year floods, 1,000-year floods, those kind of once in a million possibilities, and they're happening back to back to back to back. So, basically the reason you shouldn't listen to how often it happens is because we are not in our normal cycle. Something has affected our normal cycle. So we should expect things to be different. We don't need to look at those, how often it usually happens. This is not the usual time. These are not the usual circumstances. So along with the Northeast, I also wanted to go ahead and bring up the Gulf of Mexico. Also had a tremor yesterday. I think it was a 3.0. It was just off the coast of Texas and the southern tip. There is definitely a magma river that runs up from, I believe, Brownsville up through Dallas and into Oklahoma and splits off, right? And along the coast, they have like, I forget what they call it. It's like a shelf, right? And these shelves have had landslides at the time. And if I'm not mistaken, there might be a plate in the Gulf, but I know for a fact that there are underwater volcanoes, and that the Gulf of Mexico seafloor has been rising for the last couple of years. And I knew that once we started seeing tremors out in the Gulf of Mexico, that we'd reached a level. And so I don't know if we'll have one again. I'm going to bet we are, though. I'm going to be looking to see how often those come, if they keep coming or if they just stop. But I was kind of waiting on them to start. So, considering that all the volcanoes should be acting up and all the plates are acting up, then why would the Gulf of Mexico be any different? It's not. It's really not. So I want to go ahead and thank my new friend for sending me the question. It was a really good one, sending me the article, and just to get that word out and, get that talk going. So if you have any more questions, always feel free to send them to me, and I'll do my best to answer them. In the meantime, God bless you all, and I will talk to you soon.